Everything in this room is eatable. Even I'm eatable. That is called cannibalism, my dear children.
Rich man, if I were a ring man, what's it? Hello, are we sitting in here?
Check did not clear the bank, and so we sent the truck out to pick up the container.
I rolled out there and took the box up and started pulling it up. And it was so heavy, it just it broke the winch. And we couldn't get it off the trailer, so we had to leave it on the trailer because it was too heavy. So I was asked by Nick to have a crew go down and unload the container at the other yard.
I got a radio call that, from Ron Gillette, the foreman. They said the men were throwing up and there was something really wrong. One of them fell down and hit me right in front of my feet. And it was opened up, and there it was. And when I came to work the following day, I saw it myself. I couldn't believe it. And it's just, just little bitty babies, just all torn pieces. Their heads chopped off, arms, legs, it's just, really it's just, it makes you want to cry when you see something like that. Starting at the very front of this container, it was just wall clear to the ceiling and clear to the sides, filled with them. I really don't want to witness it again. Not what I saw.
Well, as a supervisor for the County of Los Angeles, we found out through the media that 17,000 infants had been stored in a container.
I've always been good at finding patterns. And the closer I get to this topic, the more receptive I become to a new kind of language. One that speaks to the darkest parts of my soul.
Like, what would your last meal be?
Oh, brother, probably a fully loaded deep dish pizza. I love all kinds of pizza.
Yeah.
That's when this feeling of delusion sinks into my bones. Surely this clip of Hillary Clinton saying she loves pizza is just that, and nothing more. But I'd be lying if I didn't admit that a part of me, sometimes a large part of me, begins to consider the notion that what the former Secretary of State is doing here is talking to us.
I love all kinds of pizza.
Yeah.
And by us, I mean those who fully grok the scale of this topic completely.
Hillary, you are next. Name the most mischievous thing Chelsea did as a teenager in the White House.
My answer was order pizza, and here's what I mean by that.
Chelsea, your mother often babysits for you. What does she do that you don't approve of?
Pizza for lunch and dinner every day.
That's it, you scored a point. Well done. Okay.
I think the ultra-wealthy and the high class among us are infatuated with symbolism. And since probing into this issue, I now see the world with new eyes. Because for better or worse, I've opened a doorway in my mind which now notices their motifs. Q infamously said, their symbolism will be their downfall. But does this still feel true for anyone? Is it possible their symbology is more for us than them? A vehicle of sorts, driving us to change the way we think, or to, quote, reset into new paradigms. All I'm saying is, I didn't used to think this way, and I sometimes find it difficult to see how it's an improvement. I used to be able to watch a Disney movie, for example, without picking up on the endless Masonic emblems strewn throughout, or the blatant metaphors, in the case of Pinocchio, to a kind of Epstein Island. Sometimes I wish I could close the door, but I know I can't. I've discovered something new. This is the patterns of the cabal. The first example is not directly related to human trafficking, but in my view, they remain relevant in how they point to patterns among the elite class. But do the apparent patterns we think we're discovering ultimately have a benign explanation? Are these images showing a genuine motif of Masonic influence? A new form of communication, waiting for us to take notice? Or are we applying meaning to something that doesn't exist? The fact that I can't say for sure is perhaps the most perplexing.
This is the future. Evolution. This is the future. Evolution.
Although the music video makes it appear that all the images were drawn solely by Bieber's fans, according to the Brewer brothers, who directed the music video, they did indeed draw, quote, some of the images. Which drawings do you think were created by the Brewer brothers? In Pedogate Part 1, I showed how the term BH Kids functioned as a kind of code for pedophilic content online. And for the unfamiliar, the relevant piece to focus on here is the website Liska.com, which is a Slovenian lingerie company that showed up in search results after I typed BH Kids into Google. More importantly, it showed an image of a naked girl, maybe age 5 or 6. Long story short, I found that when browsing Liska.com normally, no naked children were on their website, obviously. But simply typing BH Kids into Google was enough to literally activate new destination links to Liska.com. New destination links which showed naked children, right? They were secret links, hidden links, activated by BH. Now, I initially found the term BH Kids after typing in these 3 Vietnamese words behind Anthony Bourdain and Obama. And the first thing that pulled up was this video of young Vietnamese children singing about not smoking, which is what the words behind Obama and Bourdain mean. They mean no smoking. Now, the video with the children came from a massive YouTube channel called BH Media. And the reason why I'm talking about all this again is because the cryptic function of BH that activates hidden links apparently doesn't only work for lingerie companies.
That is gorgeous. Can you paint like that?
The Brookview House in Boston, Massachusetts, is a non-profit organization that provides living solutions for homeless children. Now, BH is the acronym of Brookview House, so if BH Kids is on their site, it's a non-issue. And to think otherwise is paranoid. But it's not on their website. Nowhere can the term BH Kids be found. None of the categories go to a page that says BH Kids. No link loads to a page that says it. It's not there. But in the exact same way as Liska.com, the good news is that it shows nothing indecent. The bad news is their website hides the page associated with the term BH Kids, then reveals it in the same way as what is arguably a website that shows child pornography. It could, of course, be a coincidence. The president and CEO of Brookview House is Deborah Hughes.
And I invite you to join us and help us create this movement. Thank you.
Season 1 of True Detective is one of the greatest television shows of my time. It follows two operatives investigating an alleged satanic cult thought to involve top law enforcement officials complicit in the cover-up of child sexual abuse and human trafficking. The creators chose to emphasize the demonic cult with this symbol. An obvious allusion to the actual pedophile symbol seen here in FBI documents. Documents which were present in episode 6 in the third season of True Detective, which was called The Crooked Spiral.
Dolls are used as signifiers in the human trafficking underground. Like this blue spiral, it's code for pedophiles.
Season 1 of True Detective works so well because it knows so much about its subject's nature. In my view, only someone with knowledge of the symbolic patterns and behaviors could make a show which continually got right the details. This pedophile symbol is often mistaken as a, quote, circle, when it's actually a derivation of the original spirangle. The relevant shape for this symbol remains triangular, but it's subtle, almost circular, but not quite. One could argue that this level of detail toward the symbolism of pedophile groups could potentially come from a deeper understanding than most of us. An understanding of what these cults seemingly convey to us. What you're about to see is the opening scene of True Detective Season 1. Let me know if anything sticks out to you.
Yeah, cult, ritual, murder. You can thank the advertiser for that.
Could you hold off on can't do that here no more.
Huh? Oh, you assholes. You want to hear this or not?
Given the the charges that were brought down today in regards to Harvey. What are your thoughts? What are just your whole thoughts about that?
So, Dr. Phil, I'm going to give you from now till April 5th to issue an apology, not only to me, but to Hannah and any other child that you sent to Turnabout or any other program like this. And if you don't, I'm going to handle things my way.
The plaintiff was sent to the Turnabout Ranch after an appearance on the Dr. Phil show. Hannah Archuleta says she was 17 when she was sexually assaulted twice by a staff member in 2019.
I expected to be treated with understanding. Instead, I experienced retaliation from the ranch after I spoke up.
That's the thing with these places is you have no evidence. You don't have a phone there. They don't have cameras there. Like, there's no evidence of none of this. And obviously all the staff is in on it.
Children were restrained, hit, thrown into walls, strangled, and sexually abused regularly at Provo. I could not report this because all communication with my family was monitored and censored. And what is disgusting is the program doesn't just censor communication with family, but also with the entire outside world. So there was no way we could call for help.
In Pedogate Part 2, many criticized my inclusion of Donnie Wahlberg, who, being part of the boy band New Kids on the Block, refers to his fans as blockheads. But he actually never uses the term blockheads. Instead, he abbreviates it with BH. Now, after listening to the criticism coming from quite a few of my followers that Donnie Wahlberg has nothing to do with any of this, I became somewhat sympathetic to this notion. I mean, just because your boy band is about, quote, new kids, connecting that to the more insidious interpretations of BH felt unfair. My sympathies toward this rebuke, however, were challenged within the first few seconds of inquiry into who it was that owned New Kids on the Block. I'm not precisely sure as to the true nature of BH, or the enigmatic pedophile spiral, or the possibility that an elite cult of child sacrifice exists among us today. But sometimes, when I'm in a certain mood, and the timing is just so, I get this sense that my deepest suspicions about the nature of evil in this world are true. But then this notion fades, and I have doubts. Deep doubts that I merely live in a reality of my own creation, never noticing, only imagining. After a while, my thoughts form an equilibrium, a balancing act. Things get back to normal, until a new pattern reveals itself to me, and I'm left questioning everything all over again. A new cycle of ornaments and arrangements that once perceived cannot be unseen.
Like these, Bill McDonald created composite sketches of alien beings.
The illustrations I do are made specifically for scientific research and for publication, and the intent is to be as accurate to the witness descriptions as possible.
Altogether, he's identified 7 different types of aliens.
The first category are the Roswell aliens. The Roswell aliens have a reptile-type texture to their skin. The eyes are very human, and they're Asian in character. The gray aliens are the next category, Reticulum sapiens superior. You have a small race between 3'5" and 4'1". that act as a technician or worker class. They have the classic black eyes wrapping around the sides of their heads. The next category are the ancients. They look almost like giant praying mantises or grasshopper insects. The eyes are fully up to 1/3 the total mass of the head. The Nordics are very interesting because they're the most human appearing of all of the aliens. They appear to be slightly taller than us, extremely athletic in build. The females are extremely well endowed proportionally. The males are very, very gorgeous and are described as looking a lot like some of the models, like Fabio. The hybrids are extremely interesting and very varied. Some of the hybrids are proportionally like children with very fine hair. The reptilians seem to have like 3 toes instead of the normal 5 on their feet. And they seem very humanish in proportion, but they have larger than normal mouths and they have a very snake-like or lizard appearance. Some of the aliens, and it's interesting that the aliens in Close Encounters of the Third Kind looked a lot like this, seem to appear like fetuses and are proportionally like fetuses that are running around like small children, have a higher degree of intelligence, and operate in a technical capacity, if you will.
Bill McDonald has no explanation for the variety of alien life he has cataloged.
They can try to kill me. Do you know anyone who was murdered because of this? Not personally, but people are murdered for it.
I'm not suicidal. Am I afraid of something? I should be, because bad things are coming my way. I can assure you of that.
The first time Isaac really understood what was going on in the industry was when he was confronted by his best friend known as Seth Green. This is where he admitted he was into pedophilia.
The first time it really hit me was at Seth's. Seth said, we now need to have a talk about chicken. And then he basically admitted that he's a pedophile.
The word chicken has been used as a code word in the WikiLeaks from Hillary Clinton to represent a child. In these WikiLeaks, she had stated, "With fingers crossed the old rabbit's foot out the box in the attic, I will be sacrificing a chicken in the backyard to Moloch." If you're wondering who Moloch is, he was a deity that was worshipped thousands of years ago and what is believed to still be going on today. In order to praise him, they would sacrifice their children.
Oh, I'm not going to talk about Tom Hanks either, who is also a pedophile. Tom Hanks, folks, is a pedophile. There's this girl, Sarah Ruth Ashcraft, on Twitter, who has been accusing Tom Hanks of raping her when she was 13. Her dad sold her to Tom Hanks. She's been accusing him for months and months and months and months and months. He's never addressed it.
Tom Hanks had posted this Instagram picture a couple weeks back. It states, "Historic Route 66 roadkill? I hope not." This was a clear play on words to predict exactly how Isaac was going to be killed. It's no coincidence that he was suicided by jumping off of a bridge, as they say, and landing on a highway and being killed by a car.
The higher you go, the more sick it gets. You heard it's cannibals. Yeah, there is cannibalism. Look into Marina Abramovich. If you're just getting started with this stuff, look into Marina Abramovich.
The person who he is referring to is extremely high up in the industry and associated with many famous celebrities. It's clear as day that what she is doing is satanic, but she calls it performance art. She hosts these parties where they do mock human sacrifices. She is also involved with what is known as spirit cooking. It's an occult ancient ritual where she mixes together these ingredients such as sperm and breast milk. After she is done with that, she throws it on what looks like a mock child.
If you don't know who John Podesta is, do some research. Oh, absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
John Podesta was the face of Pizzagate, as well as exposed in the WikiLeaks. He has ties to the Clintons and Obama, and this is the artwork that is openly showed in his home. If this doesn't scream pedophilia, I don't know what does.
Steven Spielberg is a pedophile. See how easy that was, Corey? I didn't need $10 million. I just said it.
In a new YouTube video, the former child star vowing to expose a ring of Hollywood pedophiles, who he claims have abused thousands of children.
I can name 6 names. One of them who is still very powerful today.
Feldman posting the video after launching an online campaign aimed at raising $10 million to fund his plan to reveal what he calls the truth.
Dan Schneider, oh my God. Yes, Dan Schneider is, of course, a pedophile. Is Oprah a pedophile? Well, let's see. Hanks, Weinstein, I mean, the company she keeps, as rich as she is, I have a feeling she is very high up in the cult. And this, make no mistake, this is a cult. There is a widespread cult that is worldwide. And it's fucking bad, guys. It's, what about Dave Chappelle? I think he knows quite a bit. Why did he run away to Africa? Why was he so freaked out?
28th of last year, Dave abruptly walked away, not only from the set of the show, but from $50 million, which left his fans shocked and most everyone completely puzzled.
You know, when you're a guy that generates money,
Yeah.
people have a vested interest in control. They were trying to get me to take psychotic medication.
Why did they throw Kanye in an insane asylum right after he called out Facebook and Google and saying that they lied to you? Why did they throw him in an insane asylum and drug him for days? Why?
And I'm about the sunken place I can think, and I could just be yay and just express how I feel. It was the scariest moment of my life.
What, you thought they were going to drug you or kill you?
I thought I was going to get killed. I'm in the hospital. How many pills you think I was given? 7. I went from taking 2 pills to taking 7. I was drugged the fuck out, bro.
Jimmy Savile raped and murdered hundreds of kids over the course of 3 decades or longer. No one ever looked into it. And he hung out with the royal family. He was knighted. That's why when people say the news is fake, it's because it's run by these people who are into some very, 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 very sick stuff. We have been brainwashed for our whole lives. You can break someone's subconscious mind. If you're not aware of any of this stuff, look into MK Ultra.
MK Ultra mind control rules in Hollywood. If you don't know, Google that and look into it.
What's the worst that happens? You die? We all die. Might as well die doing something good. Everyone's afraid. They're afraid to come out. It's scary, guys. People get killed over this shit. It happens all the time. Aren't you concerned for my life? Yeah. But more importantly, I'm concerned for everybody, because this shit has been going on forever. I'm tired of it. Start researching. I want everyone to wake up. I want you all to wake up. And I love you, all right? Bye.
You guys some of the documents showing the white races of Europe, and we can get a better perspective as to who the Moors were fighting. These are the albinos and the beasts of Europe. And the Moors were fighting these people for hundreds of years prior to the so-called transatlantic slave trade. And one interesting thing I wanted to show you is that when you look at these beasts and albinos and how they have achieved what they've been able to achieve in just a few hundred years, keeping in mind that they were considered wild men just a few hundred years ago, and they had no last names. Many of them didn't even have first names. And I wanted to show you this because I found this very interesting. If you see here the wild men, and you look at the clothing that the people are wearing to the left, you can see here they're wearing this clothing to cover up their hairy bodies. So I found that very interesting. And something else I found in the British Library was one of the oldest genealogy charts, one of the first ones made for white people. And as you can see at the bottom of that genealogy chart, you see two wild men. So they're showing that their ancestry comes from the caveman. So that should give you something to think about, considering that just a few hundred years later, today, we have people like the Queen of England who claim to be of the royal bloodline of Egyptians and Cushites who ruled the earth. They even found the remains of a boy who was buried at Stonehenge in Europe. He was buried in Europe, but he actually came from the Mediterranean Sea in Africa. And he came to Europe 3,500 years ago. So that's in 1500 BC. So we're told that the Moors arrived in Europe in 700 AD.
Before we called it loud, the U.S. Army called it EA 2233, meaning Experimental Agent 2233. The marijuana that we smoked with the enhanced THC, it came out of government laboratories. What we call Molly, the U.S. Army called EA 1475. Molly, MDMA, along with enhanced THC marijuana, both were produced in the U.S. Army Chemical Warfare Laboratory. And before it hit the streets and came to us, it was tested. They both were tested on black bodies by the U.S. government. Why do I say that? So marijuana and Molly are the two staples of hip hop right now. And the drum majors of those drugs don't even necessarily partake. That's an example of the weaponizing of hip hop. Hip hop is our culture, but it's been weaponized against us. So that's what I mean by the celebration of the nigga culture. The drug culture is death to black life by design. We celebrate it, but it's death to black life.
Now, you've also stated, I believe, about medical marijuana that there's chemicals in there that cause feminization.
Yeah, absolutely.
You wrote a book, The Assault on the Black Man, Black Manhood, and Black Masculinity, understanding.
Yes, sir.
The assault on the black man, black manhood, and black masculinity.
Absolutely. And to understand the assault, you have to understand the point you just raised, Sister Angela. When we say medical marijuana in 2017, it's really laughable. Natural cannabis, the cannabis that God planted, that natural cannabis has great medicinal value. That's a very different thing than loud. That's a very different thing than Kush. The chemical composition of what we smoke today is very different from the natural plant that was planted and does have medicinal value. The medicinal or medical value of the natural cannabis plant is mainly in the chemical CBD. That's the chemical in natural cannabis that produces the greatest medical effect. And it partly produces it because it tames and limits the negative effects of the other chemical, THC. The problem is CBD doesn't get you high. THC gets you high. Because THC is the neurodegenerative. It does damage to the brain and the testosterone. CBD is the medicinal, is the good chemical. In the loud, in the kush that we smoke, the CBD has been grafted out of it. And the THC content, the stuff that gets you high but kills your brain and kills the black man's testosterone, it went from less than 2% to today, 14%. And I saw my brother Snoop Dogg here talking about with that moon rock and that sun rock. Yeah. You have marijuana with THC contents 40, 50, 60%, and then Dragon Ball that's 90%. All of this THC enhanced marijuana is a weapon.
And you think they're using the drugs to feminize men? Or?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because
you also say masculize the women too. So you
absolutely. Absolutely. Marijuana, this enhanced marijuana, feminizes the black man and masculinizes the black woman. The high potency THC, it lowers the testosterone. Understand what that means. We have a wrong conception, DJ Envy, of testosterone. Testosterone ain't a libido. It's a libido, right? Ain't a sex hormone. Testosterone is testosterone with another biochemical, serotonin. These two are the biochemical basis of a man's drive for power. It's the signature of dominant men. And be clear, masculinity is not about a man's sex drive. Masculinity is about a man's power drive. Testosterone is a biochemical source of a man's drive for power. It also is testosterone. It's the chemical scalpel that literally sculpts the masculinity of the male fetus, the body, and the brain. You lower testosterone, the body will, in the fetus, it will default to a feminized form. So the THC lowers testosterone.
Don't look at what's in front of you. Boost, 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 moving up and down again. Men go mad with watching him. There's no discharge in the war. If your eyes drop, they will get the top of you. Boost, 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 moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. Rise, to think of something different. Oh, my God, keep me from going lunatic. Boom, moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. 7, 6, 11, 5, 4, 17, 32 the day before.
They don't want you to know why some cats have slit eyes.
Check this out, y'all.
They're slitted pupils. Do you know how rare that is in the animal kingdom? Lions do not have slitted pupils. They're round just like ours. Tigers don't have slitted pupils either, nor do jaguars. Now this is kind of the weird thing because I kind of thought that a domesticated house cat came from a big cat at some point down the line. But if they don't have slitted pupils like a house cat does, then what does have slitted pupils? Reptiles. Snakes and alligators have slitted pupils. Not any other cat. Now, in many cultures, ancient reptiles were considered to be kind of a trippy creature that had other abilities and senses. The other thing that's weird is that cats hiss like a snake, and they have slitted pupils like a reptile. They also love to eat mice, as do snakes. Now, we know how much the ancient Egyptians loved cats. Cats also have It's not known how a cat has half the attributes of a lion and half the attributes of a snake, but perhaps some genetic tinkering went on many years ago in ancient worlds.
California to
Okay, can you just say what you just said? And
Pico was a black Spaniard, and a lot of the indigenous people along here were blacks too. You guys need to know that. Those Moors and those Spaniards, they were blacks. Remember General Pico? They Pico Boulevard here in LA, West LA. He was a black general sent out here by the military to do excavating of the land, and also Sepulveda. Sepulveda was more, I guess, Mexican, but Pico was blacker than me. Do your history,
and there was a lot of black
indigenous. And he died broke, and that's the reason they started taxes right today. Look up that history. It's interesting.
Oh, but I can't wait till you be on TikTok.